Lily wiped her hands on her apron as she glanced around the empty restaurant. The day had been long, and she felt the weight of her tired body. She had worked extra shifts this week to pay the rent and to buy groceries for her younger brother, Ben. Her life was simple, hard, and full of small struggles, but she never complained. She believed in doing what she could and trusting that better days would come. As she prepared to leave, she noticed a man sitting at a table near the window. He wore a crisp suit and looked out of place in the quiet diner. He had a calm air about him, and Lily hesitated before approaching. She usually did not bother customers after closing hours, but something made her take a deep breath and speak. "May I have your leftovers, sir?" she asked softly, trying not to sound too bold. The man looked at her in surprise. His eyes were a clear blue, and they seemed to look right through her. He raised an eyebrow and smiled faintly, unsure if she was joking or serious. Lily felt a flutter in her chest, but she kept her eyes steady. "Yes, you may," he said after a moment, his voice calm but gentle. Lily thanked him quietly and carefully packed the food into a small bag. She was embarrassed by the smallness of her request, but he did not seem to judge her. Instead, he watched her with a quiet curiosity that made her feel as if she mattered more than anyone else had that day. As she turned to leave, she realized he had not asked for her name. The thought made her pause, and she glanced back. He was still watching her, a small, almost invisible smile on his face. That night, Lily walked home slowly, feeling a strange warmth inside. The city lights reflected in puddles from an earlier rain, and she felt a small joy in the ordinary world around her. She thought about the man and the way he had looked at her. It was not just a look of kindness. It was as if he saw her in a way that no one else had. She shook her head, trying to dismiss the feeling, but it lingered. The next day at work, Lily found herself thinking about the man. She did not know his name, but she imagined what he might be like. She pictured him walking through his busy life, surrounded by people, yet noticing her. A simple waitress, with nothing to offer but honesty. The thought made her heart beat faster, and she felt a strange mix of excitement and fear. As she served customers, her mind wandered. She wondered why he had smiled at her, and why she felt a connection that made no sense. She knew the world was bigger than her small diner life, yet she had never imagined that a stranger could make her feel seen. The feeling stayed with her, soft but persistent. That evening, Lily returned to the restaurant, hoping he might be there again. She did not know why, only that she wanted to see him once more. The diner was quiet, and the night air was cool against her face. She walked past the tables and finally spotted him near the window, the same calm expression on his face. He looked up as she approached, and this time he spoke first. "Hello," he said, and it felt like a key opening a door inside her. She smiled shyly and held the bag of leftovers a little tighter. He gestured to the chair across from him, and she hesitated before sitting down. They talked, their conversation simple at first, about food and work, the rain and the quiet city. Yet there was an invisible thread connecting them, subtle but undeniable. Each word felt important, each glance a message without sound. They were two lives crossing paths in a world that often ignored small moments like this. As the night ended, Lily walked home with her heart lighter than before. She did not know what the future held, but she felt something she had never felt with anyone else. A quiet wonder sparked by a simple question about leftovers. It was the start of something neither of them could yet understand, but both felt deep inside, as if their souls had recognized each other in the briefest of encounters. The next few days passed slowly for Lily. She could not stop thinking about the man from the diner. His calm blue eyes and the gentle way he had spoken stayed in her mind. Every day at work she wondered if she might see him again. The city felt bigger and smaller at the same time, full of people she did not know, and moments she could not predict. One afternoon, while walking home from her shift, she saw him sitting on a bench in the park. He was reading a book, and the sunlight fell on his face, making it look soft and calm. Lily stopped for a moment, unsure if she should approach. Then she remembered the warmth she had felt in his presence, and decided to walk closer.
"Hello,"
she said quietly, her voice catching slightly. The man looked up and smiled, the same gentle smile she remembered. "Hello," he said. "Do you want to sit?" Lily nodded and sat down beside him. They talked about simple things at first, the weather, the park, the people passing by. But even in these small conversations, there was something special. They laughed at small jokes and shared moments of quiet that felt like more than ordinary time. He introduced himself as Daniel. Lily said her name and they shook hands. There was a softness in the touch, a warmth that lingered longer than expected. She noticed that he was not like other people she had met. He listened carefully, his eyes focusing on her face, making her feel as if her words mattered. A few days later, they met again in a small bookstore. Lily was looking for a gift for her brother, and Daniel was browsing a section on art. They smiled at each other immediately, the familiarity between them growing stronger. They walked together through the aisles, talking about books and life, and the connection felt deeper than before. Lily started to notice small gestures from Daniel that made her heart feel lighter. He offered her a drink when she looked tired. He laughed at her clumsy jokes and he shared stories from his life without pretending to be perfect. In turn, Lily felt comfortable sharing her struggles and her dreams. She spoke about her brother, her job, and the hope that one day she could live without worry. Daniel listened without judgment, his presence giving her a quiet strength. Every meeting left them both thinking about the other long after they parted. Lily wondered how someone so different from her could feel so close. Daniel could not understand why her simple words and honest heart affected him so deeply. Every glance, every smile, every shared moment created an invisible thread that seemed to pull them closer without words. One rainy evening, Lily ran into Daniel near a small cafe. The rain made the streets shine, and the umbrellas moved like colorful sails. She was soaked and embarrassed, but he offered his coat without hesitation. They shared a warm drink inside the cafe, watching the rain together. The world outside felt far away, and in that small moment, it was just the two of them. Lily realized that meeting Daniel was changing her life. She felt seen, understood, and valued in a way she had never felt before. Daniel, too, felt something he could not explain, a pull toward Lily that made him want to be better and kinder. They were slowly learning about each other, about the power of small moments, and about a bond that grew quietly but strongly. As they left the cafe, Daniel walked her home under the soft glow of streetlights. They spoke little, but the silence was comfortable. Lily felt a sense of hope she had not known in years, and Daniel felt a warmth he had not felt in a long time. The invisible thread between them was stronger now. Both knew that this was only the beginning of something rare and remarkable. The ordinary city had become a place full of small miracles, and their hearts were learning to recognize each other in ways words could not yet express. Lily had never imagined that her life could feel so different in such a short time. Every day after meeting Daniel, her thoughts returned to him. She noticed little things that reminded her of him, like the smell of coffee or the sound of rain on the windows. It was as if his presence had left a mark on her life, even when he was not there. One afternoon, Lily walked past a small flower shop and saw Daniel inside. He was choosing flowers carefully, his face serious but gentle. She stopped at the door, unsure if she should interrupt him. Daniel looked up and smiled when he saw her. He came to the door and held it open for her. "Hello?" he said. "Would you like to help me choose?" Lily smiled nervously and stepped inside. She realized he was picking flowers for someone, but he did not say who. Together they chose bright tulips and soft lilies, talking quietly about their colors and shapes. The conversation felt natural, flowing like they had done it many times before. Lily noticed that Daniel listened to her opinions, valuing what she said, and it made her feel important. After leaving the flower shop, Daniel walked with her through the park. He asked about her life, and Lily spoke about her brother Ben and the challenges they faced. She told him about the long hours at the diner and the small joys she found in everyday moments. Daniel listened with patience, never interrupting, his eyes steady and kind. Lily felt a mix of pride and embarrassment as she shared her struggles. She had always kept her life private, fearing judgment from people who had more. But with Daniel, she felt safe. There was no pretension, no expectation, just honesty and understanding. She realized she trusted him more than anyone she had met. Daniel, too, felt something shift inside him. He had lived a life surrounded by luxury and influence, but it often left him feeling empty. Lily's honesty and courage were unlike anything he had known. Her struggles and her determination made him see the world differently. He wanted to help her, but he also wanted to respect her independence. It was a delicate balance, but he felt drawn to her in a way he could not explain. As they reached a quiet bench under a large oak tree, Lily sat and looked at Daniel. She noticed how his expression softened when he listened to her, how his eyes held attention and care. She felt a strange warmth in her chest, a feeling that this connection went beyond ordinary friendship. She wondered if he felt it too. Daniel broke the silence. He told her about the loneliness he often felt. Despite being surrounded by people, he shared memories of times when wealth and success did not bring happiness. Lily listened closely, understanding more about him than anyone else ever had. She realized that he was not perfect, but he was real, and that made her care even more. They sat together until the sun began to set, painting the sky with shades of pink and gold. The world felt quiet and safe around them. Lily noticed that she did not want to leave, that she wanted to stay in this moment longer. Daniel seemed to feel the same, his eyes reflecting a depth of feeling he could not put into words. When it was time to part, they walked to the street where they would go separate ways. Lily felt a reluctance she had never known before. She realized that their connection was more than chance. It was as if their souls had recognized each other, even if their minds could not yet understand why. As Lily entered her small apartment, she thought about Daniel and the day they had shared. She felt a quiet hope growing inside her. She knew their lives were different, yet she sensed that something rare and extraordinary had begun. For the first time in a long while, she felt that the world held wonder and possibilities, and that the invisible thread connecting her to Daniel was real and strong. Lily woke up early the next morning with a sense of anticipation she could not explain. Her thoughts were filled with Daniel and the quiet moments they had shared. She knew it was unusual to feel such a connection so quickly, but she could not ignore it. She made breakfast for Ben and reminded him of his school schedule, but her mind kept drifting back to the memory of Daniel's eyes and the calmness he brought. Later that day, while delivering food to a local shelter, Lily saw Daniel standing nearby, helping a volunteer carry boxes. He looked surprised to see her, and she smiled, feeling the warmth of recognition. They greeted each other, and Daniel asked if she could stay for a while to help him. Lily agreed, curious and happy to spend time with him outside the diner in the park. They worked side by side, carrying supplies and organizing items. The work was hard, but they laughed at small mistakes and shared stories about their lives. Daniel told her about his childhood and the lessons he had learned, and Lily spoke about the struggles of raising Ben on her own. Each story added layers to their understanding of each other, deepening the invisible thread between them. After the work was done, they sat on the steps outside the shelter, catching their breath. The sun was warm, and the city sounded distant and soft. Daniel looked at Lily, and she noticed a change in him. His usual calm demeanor was mixed with something more personal, more honest. She realized that he was beginning to trust her in a way few people had ever done. Lily felt a similar change in herself. She realized that she had been guarded for a long time, hiding her fears and doubts. With Daniel, she could be herself. She could speak freely about her dreams and fears, and she did not have to worry about judgment. It was a feeling she had never known, a mix of comfort and excitement. Daniel reached out and gently touched her hand, a gesture of support and reassurance. Lily looked at him, surprised but not afraid. She felt a pulse of emotion that made her chest tighten in a way she could not explain. The connection between them was stronger than ever, as if they were two people meant to find each other despite the differences in their worlds. They walked through the streets together, talking about the small things in life. Daniel asked about her favorite places in the city, and Lily showed him a quiet alley with murals and flowers. She shared memories from her childhood and places that made her feel safe. Daniel listened with a quiet fascination, as if every detail mattered and every story revealed something important about who she was. Lily noticed that the bond between them had changed. It was no longer just curiosity or friendship. It was something deeper. She felt her heart opening, allowing feelings she had tried to keep hidden. Daniel, too, sensed a shift. He wanted to be near her, to share moments and feelings that went beyond ordinary conversation. As evening approached, they sat on a bench overlooking the river. The water reflected the fading light, and the city felt calm and gentle around them. Daniel turned to her and spoke softly about the emptiness he often felt in his life, despite wealth and success. Lily listened closely, understanding the pain and longing he carried. She realized that love could be found not in possessions, but in moments of connection like this. Lily felt a quiet courage growing inside her. She realized that she could trust Daniel with her heart, and that the bond they shared was rare and precious. As they walked home together, hand in hand, she knew that this day had changed everything. The invisible thread between them had grown stronger. Both could feel the deepening connection that promised something extraordinary and lasting. Lily felt a growing sense of joy in her days, but with it came worry. She knew that her connection with Daniel was rare, but she also knew their lives were very different. She worried that the world would not understand them, that people might judge their friendship or question their intentions. Still, she could not deny the bond that pulled them together. One afternoon, as Lily walked through the market, she saw Daniel waiting near a small fruit stand. He waved and she felt a thrill in her chest. As she approached, she noticed a group of people nearby whispering and pointing. She realized that Daniel's presence drew attention, and it reminded her that their worlds were not the same. She felt a small pang of doubt but kept walking toward him. "Hello," he said with a smile. "You look worried?" Lily shrugged. "I guess I just worry about what people think." Daniel shook his head gently. He took her hand. "The world does not matter when it comes to this. What we feel is what matters." His words made her heart beat faster. She wanted to believe him, but the whispers around them made it difficult. She noticed that even though they were in public, their connection created a bubble that made the rest of the world seem distant. She felt the invisible thread between them tighten, giving her courage. They spent the day walking through the streets, sharing small moments of laughter and comfort. They stopped at a quiet park, where Daniel told her stories about his travels and the people he had met. Lily shared her own memories of childhood and the struggles of raising her brother. Each story brought them closer, making the differences in their lives seem less important. Later, they visited a small bakery that Lily loved. She ordered her favorite pastry, and Daniel paid without hesitation. The gesture was simple, but it carried meaning. Lily realized that he did not see her as someone to pity or admire from a distance. He saw her as an equal, someone to share life with. The thought made her feel a warmth she had never known. As the day went on, small doubts crept in. Lily wondered if she could really belong in Daniel's world, if their bond could survive the judgment and expectations of others. She spoke about her fears, and Daniel listened without judgment. He reassured her that their connection was stronger than any external pressure. His calm confidence gave her hope and made her feel safe. That evening, they sat by a quiet fountain, the water reflecting the soft glow of the streetlights. They talked about their dreams and the future, imagining possibilities without fear. Lily felt a sense of freedom she had never felt before. She realized that love was not just about grand gestures or perfect moments. It was about understanding, trust, and shared courage. Daniel reached for her hand, holding it firmly but gently. He looked into her eyes and spoke softly. "Whatever comes, we face it together." Lily felt her heart swell. She realized that the invisible thread between them was no longer fragile. It was strong, built from shared moments, trust, and the courage to be honest with each other. The doubts remained, but they no longer seemed like obstacles. Instead, they were reminders that what they had was rare and worth protecting. As they walked home together, hand in hand, the city felt less intimidating. Lily knew that challenges would come, but she also knew that their bond was strong enough to face them. The connection they shared was more than friendship, more than attraction. It was a quiet, powerful force that promised to guide them through whatever lay ahead. Lily felt the quiet excitement of the weekend as she prepared for another day at the diner. The thought of seeing Daniel again made her heart race. She knew that their connection was growing stronger, and she wanted to understand what it meant. She hoped that he felt the same pull she did, the invisible thread that tied their lives together. That afternoon, she saw Daniel waiting near the corner of the street. He smiled when he saw her, and she felt a warmth spread through her. Without words, they walked together, side by side, enjoying the simplicity of being in each other's presence. The city moved around them, but it felt like their own world. As they reached a quiet garden, Daniel turned to her. He spoke softly about the times he had felt lonely, even when surrounded by people. Lily listened closely, understanding the emptiness he described. She realized that their connection was more than chance. It was a recognition of something important in both of them. Lily shared her own fears and struggles. She spoke about her dreams for her brother, and the hope that one day life would be easier. Daniel listened without judgment, his eyes never leaving her face. He reached for her hand, holding it firmly but gently. Lily felt the thread between them grow stronger, a bond built on trust and honesty. They sat on a bench watching the sunlight fall through the leaves. Daniel spoke about his life, the pressures he faced, and the responsibilities that often left him exhausted. Lily realized that he was not just wealthy, but he carried burdens that few could understand. She felt admiration for him, not for his money, but for his strength and courage. As the day passed, they laughed and shared quiet moments, discovering small things about each other. Daniel noticed the determination in Lily, the way she faced life with courage and care. Lily saw the kindness and depth in Daniel, a man who had learned to live carefully, but had never lost the ability to feel deeply. Later, as they walked through the streets lined with trees, they encountered a sudden rain shower. Daniel pulled out his jacket, offering it to Lily. She laughed, feeling both the cool rain and the warmth of his gesture. They ran to find shelter, laughing at the absurdity of their situation, and the moment felt like a small adventure just for the two of them. Under the awning of a small cafe, they shared a warm drink and spoke quietly about their hopes. Lily felt a sense of peace she had not known in years. She realized that love was not about grand gestures, but about understanding, care, and the small acts that showed respect and attention. Daniel turned to her and said softly, "Whatever happens, we face it together." Lily nodded, feeling the truth in his words. She realized that the invisible thread connecting them had become strong and real. It was no longer just a spark or a moment. It was a steady force guiding them forward. The evening came. They walked home slowly, hand in hand, feeling the quiet wonder of the day. Lily knew that challenges would come, but she also knew that their connection was rare and valuable. The invisible thread that tied their souls together was no longer fragile, was strong, built from trust, understanding, and shared moments. She felt a deep certainty that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together. And that was more than enough to fill her heart with hope. Lily felt a quiet excitement as she prepared for the weekend. She had spent the past days thinking about Daniel and the invisible thread that connected them. She wondered what the future held, but she felt confident that whatever happened, they would face it together. That afternoon, she saw Daniel waiting outside a small art gallery. He waved, and her heart raced as she approached. She noticed the calm smile on his face, the one that always made her feel safe. They walked together inside, exploring the gallery and sharing thoughts about the paintings. Their conversation was easy, filled with laughter and gentle teasing, yet it carried a depth that made them both feel connected. After the gallery, they walked through the streets, stopping at a small park where children played and birds sang. Daniel spoke about his dreams and hopes for the future. He admitted that he often felt lonely, despite his wealth. And Lily shared her own fears about the struggles she faced in her life. Each word, each story, strengthened the bond between them, and they realized that they understood each other in ways no one else could. Lily felt a courage growing inside her. She knew that she cared deeply for Daniel, and she felt certain that he felt the same. Their connection had grown from curiosity to friendship, and now into something more profound. It was a quiet, powerful feeling, the recognition of two souls meant to find each other. As the sun began to set, they sat on a bench near the river. The water reflected the orange and pink hues of the sky. Daniel turned to her, his voice calm but filled with emotion. He spoke about how meeting her had changed his life, how her presence brought warmth and meaning to his days. Lily listened, feeling tears of happiness fill her eyes. She realized that their bond was extraordinary, beyond wealth, status, or expectation. They walked slowly along the riverbank, hands entwined. Lily felt a sense of peace she had never known. The world around them seemed to fade, leaving only the quiet strength of their connection. She understood that love was not about grand gestures or dramatic moments. It was about understanding, trust, and being present for each other. As night fell, they found a small cafe and sat outside under the soft glow of the streetlights. They talked quietly about their dreams, fears, and hopes for the future. Lily felt a deep certainty that their connection was rare and valuable. Daniel held her hand, and she felt the invisible thread between them grow even stronger. It was no longer just a spark. It was a steady, guiding force. Walking home later, they stopped under a tree, with branches swaying gently in the night breeze. Daniel looked at her, his eyes full of sincerity. "Whatever comes," he said, "we face it together." Lily smiled, feeling her heart swell with love and certainty. She realized that the wonder she had felt the first time she asked for leftovers had grown into something much greater. It was a connection of the soul, a recognition of each other that could not be explained but could only be felt. She knew that their lives had changed forever, and that the invisible thread that tied them together was unbreakable. As they continued walking, side by side, the city seemed alive with quiet miracles. The stars above twinkled like small lights guiding their way. Lily and Daniel walked forward, hearts full of hope, knowing that their bond was strong enough to face whatever life brought. In that moment, a wonder had truly happened. Born from a simple question and grown into a love that would last.